trying to see where the game is going before everyone else does. Early in my career, I was chief operating officer of a company called Commerce Energy. In that role, I noticed something that I thought was a massive opportunity. Here's what stuck with me. 4 out of 5 customers in the deregulated energy markets were still buying power from their local utility. They were not taking advantage of energy deregulation, just paying whatever the utility told them to pay. I was blown away by this. Everyone pays an electric bill, everyone wants to save money, and almost nobody was doing anything about it. So I did something a little bit crazy. I resigned from Commerce Energy, I raised capital, and I started my own company called Viridian Energy. We grew it rapidly to more than 250,000 customers in just 2 years. I took it public as Creus Energy, valued at $375 million. On that journey, I was recognized as Entrepreneur of the Year by Ernst & Young in the clean tech category. And eventually we grew that company to more than 1.4 million customers and sold it to a large competitor for over $500 million. I don't tell you that to brag, because people who know me know that's not my style. Quite the opposite. I tell you that so you can understand what I mean when I say this. With everything I've seen and experienced in this industry, and it's been a lot, I have never felt the conviction and the excitement about what I feel right now. Yeah. About the massive opportunity ahead of each of us. So let me help you understand why. Let me share my conviction and belief with each and every one of you. Right now, 3 forces are hitting the energy industry at exactly the same time. Not trends. Trends come and go. These are forces. And when they collide, they create chaos. And chaos creates opportunity. And in my opinion, this will be the opportunity of a lifetime. Force 1, rising costs. Electricity is getting more expensive. The average household's monthly electric bill went from $121 in 2021 to $156 in 2025. That's a 30% increase in 4 short years. Why is this happening? Why now? It comes down to the most basic principle in economics: supply and demand. Electricity demand in the United States is increasing at an unprecedented rate. Due to the electrification of our lives and the rise of data centers and AI. But here's what most people miss, and that's the key to everything that follows. It's not about how much electricity we need, it's when we need it. The grid has to be built for the single busiest moment, its peak. In summer, when every air conditioner kicks in at once, the power grid has to be able to meet that demand for that moment, even though it might happen for only a handful of hours per year. And as that demand surges, the peak keeps climbing higher and higher. It's that we need to, it's that at the very same moment we need the maximum power on the grid. Now the logical response would be just to build more power plants. But there are 2 issues with that solution. First, it takes 5 to 10 years to build. And demand growth is happening in real time, right now. Wow. We need solutions. And second, it makes very little sense to spend a fortune building power plants that only run a few hours of the year. So building our way out of it, at least not in the near term, simply is not the answer. So to show you how this is playing out in your markets, let's take a look at the recent capacity auctions in PJM. For reference, PJM is the largest electric grid in the United States. It covers the mid-Atlantic region from Illinois all the way to the East Coast. Here's the simplest way to think about a capacity auction. It's the way generators get paid just to promise they'll show up when the grid needs them most, on the hottest, highest demand day of the year. And over the last few years, that price has exploded. 2 years ago, the average charge a customer paid was $30 a year. Today, that's more than $300 a year. That's a 10 times increase. And to be clear what that charge is, it's not for the electricity you use. It's a completely separate line item on your bill, just to keep the grid reliable. And here's the part that should really worry you. The $300 is artificially low. A few days ago, PJM ran its latest auction, and the price hit the cap again, the maximum the rules currently allow. But PJM also ran a simulation of what would happen without the cap. The answer? Prices would nearly double across PJM, and in the ComEd territory in Illinois, they'd be 2.5 times higher because of the added strain from data center growth in that market. For a typical family, that's the difference of spending $300 a year to roughly $550. In the ComEd territory, it's the difference of spending $300 versus $775. And here's the part that almost nobody's talking about. That price cap disappears after next year's auction. Think about what that means. The only thing holding prices now is a temporary, artificial ceiling, and it's about to come off. And when it does, customers won't see a small bump. They'll be exposed to the full, uncapped force of the supply and demand imbalance that exists in those markets. And remember, this is an important point to remember, this is all before a single electron gets used. It's the price of admission just to keep the grid on. Force 2, declining reliability. The electric grid is becoming less reliable. When I was growing up, we rarely had a power outage. But guess what? Times have changed. In 2024, the average American went without power for 11 hours. That's nearly double what it was 10 years ago. Double. Why? Because the grid is old. It's really that simple. Roughly 40% of the grid was built before 1970, and it was built for a different era. One that used a fraction of the electricity that we do today. Here's a data point from NERC, the North American Electric Reliability Corporation, the organization that's responsible for keeping our grid reliable. In their latest 10-year outlook, NERC finds that 13 of the 23 grids across North America face elevated risk of running short of power in the next decade. And PJM, the grid supporting many of our customers, is one of them. NERC rates PJM as, quote, elevated risk through 2028 and high risk starting in 2029. Wow, think about that. It feels like backup power is going to become a necessity in many of our markets. Yeah. Force 3, growing customer frustration. Customers are becoming frustrated because of the two other forces. They're paying more and getting less. Energy used to be something pretty invisible, something in the background of our lives. We took for granted and paid little attention to. That luxury is gone. We're feeling the strain of the two forces in ways we never imagined. Higher bills, frustrating higher bills, frequent outages, frustratingly limited options, and no end in sight. The trend was highlighted in the 2025 study by J.D. Power. They found that customer satisfaction with utilities is the lowest ever recorded, falling to 499 on a scale of 1,000 points. Any teachers in the room? You know that 49% is an F. They are failing their job. The result is that most customers have no idea what to do about it, and no one they trust to ask. Now, I just threw a lot of numbers at you, and that was on purpose, because those three forces don't add up to a problem for us. They add up to an opportunity, a once-in-a-career opportunity. An opportunity for someone to walk into a customer's life and say three simple words: I can help. And that someone is you. So this weekend is about making sure you are ready to seize it. We're announcing a wave of new business building tools, new certification, a new app, new videos, so much more. But there's one tool I'm most excited about, the new Think Plus website, which brings your product and recruiting activity together in one place. Let's go. There's a bigger reveal coming later today, so I'm not going to talk much about it. But I do want to read you the headline for the new website, because it captures exactly where we see this market and your opportunity headed. Energy is confusing, but it doesn't have to be. Think Plus is your energy concierge. Tell us where you live, and we'll match you with the right plan and the right products to power your home. As you think about where this business is headed, with our unmatched mix of products, autosave, the home battery, community solar, electricity, combined with our network marketing sales model, I think the strategic positioning of our energy advisors as an energy concierge, focused on matching customers with the right plan and products, is perfect. For my entire career, this industry has been sold as a commodity. Kilowatt hours, rates, bills, cold, confusing, transactional. This new paradigm, you're not selling electricity or a battery or community solar. You're an energy concierge who is solving your customers' problems. Yes. And that is very powerful. So let's have some fun and talk about our latest product launch, the home battery. Who wants to talk about the battery? All right. I want to talk about what we've actually built, because I think most of you don't comprehend how hard it was, how incredibly hard the team worked, or how far we've already come. For nearly 20 years, I've built and run energy businesses. Retail electricity, in a sense, is simple. You sign up a customer, you serve them some electrons, you connect with the utility, and you send the bill. Repeat, repeat. The battery business is a completely different animal. To put a battery on someone's home, we had to build an entire operation from scratch. Financing, supply chain, warehouses, inventory, trucks, crews, engineering, and so much more. None of that exists in retail energy. We built all of it. With most products, the sale is the finish line. You install it and you move on. With our battery product, the installation is just the starting line. That's when the real value creation begins. We monitor every battery in real time. We charge and dispatch them to capture the lowest wholesale prices. And when the storm is coming, we make sure every battery in its path is topped up and ready. If one goes offline, we fix it. We're running a power plant made out of a network of homes. How cool is that? One of my favorite parts of the week is when I spend time with our asset management team and see the live data from our batteries in action, with energy flowing to and from the grid dispatched by our proprietary algorithms. Check out this dashboard. It's a small glimpse into the power of our technology. And here's a milestone we're sharing. A few weeks ago, we crossed the 1 megawatt of installed capacity under management. On the scale of a national grid, that's a drop in the ocean. Well, maybe a half a drop. I know, but it's proof. It's proof that the whole system works. That we can find a customer, that we can design a system, that we can install it, we can switch it on, we can manage it end to end at real scale. Everything else we build from here on out sits on top of that first megawatt we've installed. As we build beyond that first megawatt, we will be expanding into more markets. Texas and Illinois are just the beginning. And remember, every market is different. So the customer value proposition will change, but it will always have two primary tenets: low rates, backed by our low rate guarantee, and whole home backup at no cost to the customer. Does that sound good? Yep. Let's talk about low rates. We have attractive offers available in Texas and Illinois today. In Texas, we offer an initial term, which is a 5-year fixed rate. When you compare our 5-year fixed rate with the best available 5-year fixed rate on Power to Choose, our offer is better for a customer who uses 2,000 kilowatt hours by over a half a penny per kilowatt hour. Using that as our comparison over that initial 5-year term, our customer will save $400 relative to what else is out in the market. In Illinois, we offer a 15-year guaranteed savings product with the initial discount for the 2-year term at a minimum of 25%. ComEd's current published rate is about 10.4 cents per kilowatt hour. And for simplicity, if we use that rate as the same for the 2-year period, our customers would save nearly $450 just in that initial 2-year period. Think about that value we're creating just on the rate side. And don't forget, the customer has peace of mind that they will get a great rate of renewal and are protected by our low rate guarantee. So significant value, we're paying that customer in lower rates to put our battery in their home. Let's talk about backup power. We have lots of data points to share from real customers this summer in Texas. As you know, Texas has more outages than any other state in the country. So we put our batteries to the test frequently this summer. The good news is that the data is encouraging. First, our longest outage to date, Wayne M in Dallas lost power for nearly 8 hours on June 19th. The battery supplied whole home backup for the entire duration of the outage. Even better news, yes, there was more charge in the tank had the outage gone longer. That's pretty awesome. Second, I'm not aware of any customers not having backup power available at a time. And so this is a really important point. I mentioned earlier, while we don't guarantee backup power, we work very hard, our algorithms are trained. When we expect bad weather that's going to cause an outage, we do everything we can to make sure that battery has as much charge as possible. So what's next for our battery business? New markets? Anybody think new markets? All right. Lots of good suggestions out there. All right. The battery products is available in Texas and Illinois. And we're on track to launch both New Jersey and Pennsylvania by the end of this year. I get asked a lot why New Jersey and Pennsylvania took a little longer than planned. Here's the honest answer. We made a deliberate choice to prioritize Illinois first. Not because we like Illinois better, but because the value we could offer customers there was too good to pass up on. 15-year guaranteed savings versus ComEd, a minimum 25% discount for the initial term, whole home backup at no cost. When you can put that kind of value proposition in front of customers, you move on that. That's how we grow this business next. Yeah. And here's the really big news. New Jersey and Pennsylvania are not the finish line either. We expect to announce additional markets that we will be going to in the first half of 2027 by the end of this year. Think about that. Our goal is to be in 6 markets by mid next year. So massive opportunity ahead. Are you guys excited? I know I am. Let me leave you with one more thought on this product. And for those of you who know me well, no, I don't make this kind of statement lightly. I am that bullish on where this market is headed. So here's my bet, right now, on the record. In 10 years, a home without a battery will feel as strange as a home without Wi-Fi. That is 100% the future I see. That is where we're headed. I am not just predicting it. I am betting this company on it. Let that sink in for a minute. Now stay with me one more second, because that changes something incredibly important. You've heard me talk about my mission before. Not to build a company that makes $1 billion, but one that saves our customers $1 billion. A smarter way to pay for something you are already going to buy. But here's the thing. I set that $1 billion goal before I made the bet I just made around batteries. And if I'm right, which I don't like being wrong, but if I'm right, and if batteries really are as common in 10 years as Wi-Fi, let's frame it quickly. How many people don't have Wi-Fi in their home? Nobody? Are you telling me more people knew who Johann Cruyff was than people don't have Wi-Fi in their home? All right. Back to the point. If batteries do become as common as Wi-Fi in people's homes, then the $1 billion of savings we're talking about isn't the ceiling.
Whoa.
It's barely the starting point. Think about that. Every auto-save enrollment, every battery, every community solar customer, it all rolls up towards that $1 billion. And if my prediction holds true, it's going to end up being a lot more than that. And none of this happens in a boardroom. It happens in a kitchen, or a living room, or a coffee shop.
Come on.
One conversation, that $1 billion, and whatever comes after it belongs to this room, right here. So let me bring this home, and let me keep the promise I made at the very start. Let me finish the story I started this morning, the one I asked you to hold on to. Remember Spain, the Dutchman's crazy bet, the academy full of small, technical kids, and a coach who benched Raul to trust the system. Here's how that story ends. When the moment finally came, they didn't just win once. They won the European Championship and the World Cup and the European Championship again. 3 major titles back to back to back.
Amen.
No nation in the history of the sport had ever done it, and nobody's done it since. All that quality, and finally the results to match. They call it a golden generation. And they didn't do that with one superstar taking every shot. They did it exactly the way they trained for all those years. A whole team, moving as one pass, then to the next, then to the next, until the goal was inevitable. Here's why I made you wait for the ending, because that is us.
Yeah, amen.
We looked at this industry and saw 3 forces coming together before almost anyone else did. Rising costs, a failing grid, families who finally had enough. And while everyone still was selling kilowatt hours, we've been building for this opportunity, delivering a full suite of products built around savings and designed for the challenges your customers face. I've been telling people lately that our championship window is open. Now you know exactly what I mean. The forces are real, the products are valuable, and the trust, the one thing that nobody can copy, lives right here in this room. Championship windows open and close. Markets get crowded. Products get copied. The wide open moment standing in front of you today is not guaranteed to be here forever. So the only question left to ask is the one that Spain had to answer. When your championship window opens, do you win once, or do you become a golden generation? Here's the good news. A golden generation is never built on one superstar. It's built on a full team who know their role and make the pass. One customer, one kitchen table, one conversation, one battery, handed to the next, until $1 billion and beyond is achieved. A year ago, I told you we were empowering your future. This year, I'm asking you to go make an impact with it. Go recruit the person who's going to change their whole life on your team. Go be the concierge to the family that doesn't yet know how much they need you. Carry the whole bag: autosave, retail electricity, the battery, and community solar. Help people make the right choice. Nobody can create a golden generation alone. We get there one conversation, one customer, one battery, one energy advisor at a time. And that's the impact. That's the legacy. That belongs to every single person in this room. Our window is open. Let's go build the dynasty. Thank you.